Good evening, you're watching News Mongolian World. I'm your host, Tanner Kabatter. And for top stories, the Minister of Finance instructed to repay the samurai bond. Korean nationals are eligible to a 90 days visa-free entry to Mongolia. And government policy needs to support national production for export. And for the news, stay tuned. On Wednesday, May 4th, the regular cabinet meeting was held and the development bank debt repayment issue was discussed. In addition, cabinet members discussed intensification of bank assets and optimization of its activities.
The cabinet also discussed measures that need to be taken. As of May 3rd, a total of 165 billion Mongolian tugrus of non-performing loans of the Development Bank have been repaid. The Minister of Finance, Jiaolong, informed the cabinet on the measures to be taken to intensify the bank's activities and to deal with major creditors in the future. He said there was a reason to raise and discuss the bank's loan policies. There was an inspection conducted by the Bank of Mongolia in 2019, indicating there was a need of establishing a loan loss fund of 812 billion Mongolian tugrus. Usually, non-performing loans are classified according to the central bank's regulations, and a 25, 75, and 100% loss fund is established. Accordingly, an act was supposed to be issued. However, according to the act, no transaction to establish a fund has been made on the bank's balance sheet. As a result, it has become necessary to repay non-performing loans in a short period of time to ensure the normal operation of the bank. In addition, two major bonds repayment are due in 2023, notably Euro bonds called Renaissance, worth $500 million or 1.5 trillion Mongolian tugrus is to be repaid on October 23, 2023, and 725 billion Mongolian tugrus worth of samurai bonds to be repaid on December 25, 2023. The Minister of Finance has instructed the Development Bank to repay the samurai bonds as a priority. Minister Jiaolong stressed that the bond is guaranteed by the government. He said that if the Development Bank is unable to repay its non-performing loans, which are on the verge of bankruptcy, there is a risk that the debt will have to be repaid with taxpayers' money. In any case, the Development Bank plans to repay 1/3 of its non-performing loans this year, and next year to repay the samurai bonds and other non-performing loans.
Our next story is related to light industry according to companies operating in shoe manufacturing. Annually, Mongolia produces around 500,000 pairs of shoes. Shoemaker companies noted government and policy support is needed for expanding their businesses to foreign markets. Let's take a look at the report. There are more than 50 shoemaker members in the Leather Industry Association. Among them are unregistered organizations. It is estimated there are more than 100 shoe companies and manufacturers. Mongolians need to be a major player in the domestic market in order to export shoes abroad. It also means that if Mongolia at least covers 50% of its local demand, it will be able to export to other markets. There are also two major foreign markets for Mongolian-made shoes. These include markets in Russia, Siberia, and Inner Mongolia. To do this, we need to have trained staff. We also need a law to protect the domestic market. There is a need to improve the quality of raw materials. In addition, if the government regulates the market of shoe manufacturers, our industry will be able to enter the international market. In general, the market for shoes has great potential to make big deals. Tenders were announced between February and March to run a shoe factory. Until June, all shoe manufacturers must submit their documents. Due to the large amount of work over the short amount of time, it is not possible for the shoe factory to continue on a sustainable basis. This issue needs to be sorted out according to the standards of foreign countries. For example, the production of winter shoes in the summer, and if we can produce summer shoes in winter, the factory can continue to operate normally. The footwear industry will also support leather and raw material industry, and herders can benefit from it. Therefore, with the sustainable operation of the footwear industry, the leather processing industry can also develop with confidence. In addition, herders will have additional income and raw materials will be of better quality. In the past, there was a misconception to finance herders first. To my opinion, if state purchasing process supports manufacturers for policy, we will be able to set a certain quality standard for raw material supplies of herders. If we can do this in the future, we will be able to work with a cluster system and develop small and medium-sized enterprises. Currently, Best Shoes is a stable tannery and a source of income for herders. In addition, if our factory can operate at full capacity, it will be possible to produce soles for shoes and auxiliary materials that cannot be made domestically. Also, if we support small and medium-sized enterprises, this sector has plenty of potential for growth. Looking at the big picture of production, it is possible for large enterprises to develop if they can support and cooperate with smaller enterprises. Now let's take a look at Mongolia's current affairs.
On May 4th, the government of Mongolia decided to allow Korean nationals visa-free entry to Mongolia for a period of up to 90 days in order to develop the national tourism sector and revive the economy after the long COVID-19 caused hiatus. This decision shall be made effective from June 1st of this year and will be valid until December 31st, 2024. Prior to the outbreak of the coronavirus pandemic, an average of 100,000 Koreans visited Mongolia annually for tourism purposes, and this decision is vital for increasing the number of tourists from South Korea and to develop the tourism industry, noted cabinet members. Currently, 25 foreign countries residents with all types of passports and residents of 37 countries with official and diplomatic passports can travel to Mongolia without visas. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs is continuing talks with the Korean side through diplomatic channels to facilitate the visa-free travel of Mongolian citizens to the Republic of Korea.
Here's the currency exchange rates provided by Mongol Bank. Here's the weather forecast of world's major cities. Well, that's all for today and thank you for staying with us. We will see you tomorrow with more news and updates. Have a nice evening. Goodbye.